One of my favorite coordinators at any level of football to look at in terms of blitz design is Wink Martindale with the Michigan Wolverines. Now, he comes from the Ravens tree, and they do one particular thing really well, and that is pick pressures. We're going to look at one individual pick pressure that he ran against Washington that really highlights not only the design, but how this scheme works against protections. Let's get into the tape. On these simulated pressures, a lot of times the presentation is the most important part. So what we have here by Michigan is a load front. So we're going to actually overload the field side. Now, it doesn't look like a traditional load front. Typically, you would want number one on this A gap, and then we have a 3 technique, and then we're going to have a really wide 5. The reason why we want this wide 5 is we want this tackle to really have to either get deep and kick wide. That creates a lot more angles for us. The reason why presentation matters and the reason why this load front matters is that we want the slide to work to the field. So if you count numbers wise, we have a guy on top of the center. So we're going to go center over. We have 4 defenders to the field and we only have 2 to the boundary. Now, what the Huskies are going to do is they're going to run what I call slide lock. So they are going to full slide their line to the field. They're going to lock the tackle on the defensive end, and then the running back will be in charge of this B gap. That is going to be the important part. Now, a lot of times in these pick pressures, what the defense wants to do is isolate the running back. We want to simulate a pressure for the running back to pick up so that we can get a 2-for-1. And the 2-for-1 is going to come from the pick man. The pick man is going to be number 30. I like to, especially at the college level, is creating a pod look. So right here, we have 3 guys. You have no idea at the end of the day where these guys are going to go. An easy compliment off of this would to bring one across and then into the A gap and into the B gap with the defensive end working here. And we can cop this guy. That's an easy 5-man pressure. So they have to contend with all of this. The running back is going to be in charge of the first guy. Now, why do we want the running back to block? We want the running back blocking in spread sets because he's the worst blocker. He's the 6th guy, and he's the worst blocker. These guys are all paid to block and pass protect at the top of that list. So we want the running back who's not particularly the best at that, who's been told, hey, you've got the first blitzer from the 2nd level. They're going to latch onto that. And that's how this pick pressure works. The way that this works is we are going to take number 30 right here. We are going to have him attack the hip of this tackle. That's going to also bring the running back in. This is where that 2-for-1 comes in. We are going to take this defensive end and we are going to stunt him back inside. Now, remember, we're going to get this full slide this way. So this right guard is not going to see that loop, and we are going to manufacture a free run. And again, the Ravens system does really good job. These show up in almost every game that the Ravens play. You can see it with Mike McDonald. You see it with Jesse Minter. These pick pressures show up. You can see the line coming through. He's now going to attack. Notice how he gets. I really like this by 30. And this is, again, the attention to detail by Wink Martindale in this teaching. Watch how 30 makes eye contact with number 1 to make sure that he latches on. He's also checking to make sure that this guard doesn't fan to him, because that's the other thing that you can do here on these pick pressures is I actually want to, if the guard is going to work to me, so let's say that they go 3-man slide and they man block this, I want to actually allow him to push me into the tackle. That's going to also bring the running back. And then now we can almost get a 3-for-1. And it also, too, in a lot of senses, if the guard is going to come here, you could see that he might step up here or that he's going to release out. You never know where the back is going to go. So 30 making eye contact with the back and then checking to make sure that the guard slides. Once he sees that, watch how 30 goes straight there. Now, I would love a little bit more contact, almost ear hole the guy. You want to make sure that you knock the tackle off. Now, notice how number 1 sees the stunt. The running back sees the stunt, but coach told me I've got to take the linebacker. So I'm going to then work back to the linebacker, which leaves the defensive lineman straight to the quarterback. Now, we want to make the sack. Great job by the quarterback getting out of it. But you can see then when we have the defensive end on the other side, he needs to hold contained, 17 holds contained, chases him out, ends up being incompletion. But let's go back to the top again. So we see this 30 is going to make eye contact with the running back, see the guard slide away. He's going to work to the near hip of the tackle. Again, would love to see this. The other nice thing about this is, and you see this in the NFL, is that if the running back ends up picking up the loop stunt, the tackle cannot block the pick. And then now he would be the one that would end up getting sacked. I still need 17 to get a little bit deeper set. And I'm sure in film, he was told to, hey, build that wall. Don't let him get out. We don't want him to be able to escape at all. Nice pick pressure. And it just shows you how easy you can do this. But it starts with the alignment. We get the slide to the field because of the overload. We have a pod in the middle to create some confusion and force communication. And then at the end of the day, we get that 2-for-1 on the pick. The defensive end, who is the primary penetrator, the guy that we want to sack, is able to get there. We just need to finish the play. But this is a great example of a pick pressure from a system that is elite at doing that and creating these pressures. And again, Michigan with the missed sack, but it really highlights how these pick pressures work.